Everyone, we are back again with our latest video on SQL tutorial by Bikacho Groups. And this is day 8 set 0.2 of 30-day SQL interview question series. And this video is getting recorded on 6th of May 2025. Okay, so without any delay, let's move on to the first question of today's video. And here also we will do the same thing. First of all, we are going to resolve the query based question, and after that we will jump into the theoretical part. Okay, now move on and check first question of today's video. So here what we have, so this is student table we have already created on SSMS. So the script for that you will find on the our telegram channel. So you can join from here also, from this scan code, or either you can go to our video description. There you will find the link, or you will also find the link on our channel description. Okay, now move on with the first question. So first question, what it is telling, so find the student who enrolled in the same month and year as their mentor or advisor. Okay, so basically first of all we will move to SSMS and check the data of the students table, and then after we will proceed with the execution of these queries. Okay, so once we expand this SQL interview database, then here we have the students table, and this student table we are going to use in this particular series, now in this particular set. Okay, now paste this question here. So here what you are going to do, first of all we are going to check the students table, what kind of data it has, and then what logic we need to apply. So select star from students table. Okay, now execute this. So here you can see we have student ID, name, enrollment date, grade, mentor ID, and group ID. Now what it is telling, so the question is telling like, find the student who enrolled in the same month and year as their mentor or advisor. So basically this is a very good question, and this required self join concept. Okay, so if the interviewer want to know your join concept or join logic, then they will ask this particular question, and this is a most frequently asked question. Okay, now check how to write the query for this. So basically here is the student table only, and here only we have the student ID also and mentor ID also. Now how to find out who is the mentor of whom? So here you can see like Alex has no mentor, means Alex is the main mentor. Now for brand mentor is Alex. Okay, and for Christian the mentor is Brian, and for Daniel same, Alex is the mentor. Now like this kind of relation we need to create using the self join, and then after that we will resolve this particular question. So here we need to find out those student name who have enrolled with their mentor or advisor. So here you can see we have Brian and Alex both have enrolled at the same day, and Alex is mentor of Brian. And here also we can see Daniel has the same enrollment date, and Daniel has the mentor as Alex. Okay, so here what we will get, now check here. So first of all you need to do like self join. So select from students table and consider this as one table for students, and then join, again join the students table and consider it as B as the mentor table. On what basis? On a dot mentor id, will be B dot students id. Okay, this is clear. Now A we are considering as the student table, and B we are considering as the mentor table. Okay, so like this only it will come, like student table mentor id will be the student id of student mentor table. Okay, so A dot mentor id equals to B dot student id. Okay, and now what we need to find out, we need to find out those students name who has enrolled with their mentor. So here also one condition will come, like and A dot enrollment date is equals to B dot enroll date. Okay, and this is the query, and here you need to mention like A dot name. So A is the students table, so A dot name will be as student name, student, student name. Okay, and then give a space here, press Ctrl R to remove the result set. Now here we will write like B dot name, what it will come, B dot name as mentor name, mentor name. Okay, and now at end what we need, we need the date of enrollment from both the columns. So here comma is missing, so a dot enrollment date comma a dot enrollment date as student enroll. Okay, student, student enroll. Okay, now remove the space from here. Now put a comma sign, and then we have b dot enrollment date as mentor enroll. Okay, mentor, mentor, mentor enroll. Okay, enroll. Now this is clear. Now when we execute this, this will provide, and this is the final query for this particular question. Now execute this and check the result set. So here you can see with Alex is the mentor and the student. Brian is has enrolled on the same date as that of Alex. Okay, mentor enrolled date 10th 9 2022, and a student enrolled date like Brian enrolled date is 10th 9 2022. Similarly, Daniel also enrolled with Alex. Okay, so these are the records where the student has joined or enrolled the means class with the mentor. This is clear. Now move on to the next question. So if you don't understand this particular question, this is very important question, then let us know in the comment. We will try to make you understand, or if needed, we will create some different video also to explain you the concept of self join. Basically for joins, full video we have already uploaded on our channel. So if you need to deep dive into what are joins, what are the types of join, and how joins work internally, then you can reach out to that video. That link you will find in our video description. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the second question. So count students whose name start and end with the same letter. So what we need to do here, here we need to find out those students whose name start and end with the same letter. Okay, now paste this question, and then how to write the query for this. This is a simple question but bit tricky. Okay, so for finding out last and first letter of the name, what we need to use, we will use the left and right function, and then we need to check if left of the name is equals to right of the name, first digit. Okay, first character. So write the query for this. So star select star from students. This is simple question, but basically this can be asked with means expert levels also, like 4 to 5 years of expertise people can also get this question, because this is a bit tricky question, and this can show your basic skills to the interviewer. So select star from students where left of name, and left function, what it will do, it will fetch the given characters from the left side of a string, and right, what it will do, it will fetch given characters from the right side of the string. So left will be the first character and right will be the last character. Okay, so left name comma 1, and this is the first character, should be equals to right name comma 1. Okay, and this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Now execute this and check the result set. So here you can see Mary M starting with M, ending with M, then Ruchita R starting with R, ending with R. Okay, now this is clear. Move on to the next question. So next we have the third question. So what it is telling, so retrieve students name and grades in a single column with space. So this is a very basic question. Basically here you need to concat the student name with the grades. Okay, so copy this question and move on to SSMS. We will check this. Now comment it out. Then this has a very simple solution. So what we need to do, we need to concat name and grade, because we need to provide name and grade in a single column with space. So select, and then table name first we will mention, so that intelligence will work. So from students table, and what we need the name concatenated with name, and then we need to plus, and is provide one space between that, and then plus grade. So here is a trick also, like grade here, if you see in select star from students, then grade is a numerical column. Okay, so select star from students, or we can sp underscore help, we can use the system store procedure, that will show us the column details. So exec sp underscore help, and then the table name. So what this particular system function is, a system store procedure is doing, this system store procedure will provide you the definition of the table, means what are the columns. So see here, it is providing like what are the columns available in the table, what is their data types, and all the details. So these uh, system store procedure are also very helpful while you are working, and these can be asked in the interviews also. So if you need to deep dive into store procedures, whether it is a system store procedure or a user defined store procedure, parameterized store procedure or non-parameterized store procedure with output parameter store procedure, then you can visit to our store procedure video. There we have explained it in details, and that video link you will find in the this particular video description. Okay, now here what we need to check, we need to check grade. What is the data type of grade? So grade is integer and it will not concatenate with the what, string. So here we need to cast grade as varchar. Okay, so this is the trick here. So cast grade and then as varchar. Okay, and if we try to concat grade without casting it, what will happen? First we will check like that. Let's comment this and then put grade here. Okay, now try to execute this. What result it is providing? Provide one alias also as name grade. Okay, from students table. Now execute this. So here you can see conversion failed when converting varchar value alex to data type int. Okay, so what the system is trying to do? The system is trying to convert the name to varchar, name to integer. That is not possible. Varchar cannot be converted to integer, but we can convert integer to varchar. Okay, now pick this one and try to execute. What result we are getting? So copy this, paste it here. Now execute this. Control R. Then when we execute this, so see here both are concatenated. Okay, so alex space 85, that is the grade of alex, then Brian with grade, Christian with grade, and so on. Okay, so this is clear. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the fourth question. So what it is telling, so find the students whose grade are higher than their mentor's grade. Okay, so basically here also we need to put self join, because here we need to compare student and mentor grades. Okay, so this is also very simple, and this is similar to the first one, but simple but very important, because these are most frequently asked questions. Self join questions are mostly asked. So as we have mentioned, you can visit to our joins video for full detail on joins. That link you will find in the video description. Now write the query for this. So what we need to find out? We need to find out the students whose grade is higher than their mentors. So first of all, write the join query. So select from students, and this particular table will be student table. Consider it as A, and then join again students and consider it as B, and this is the mentor table. On what condition? On a dot mentor id, equals to b dot student id. Okay, this is clear. And now write the name. So a dot name as our student name, comma, so put a tab here. Now comma, in second line what it will come? So b dot name as mentor name, then comma. What we need to check the marks between both of them. So a dot marks who grades. Okay, grades we are taking here now. So a dot grade as student grade, student grade. Then again b dot grade equals to as mentor grade, mentor grade. Okay, this is clear. Now one more condition will come here, like we need to check students grade which are higher than their mentor grade. So one more condition we need to add, and a dot grade, student grade, should be greater than b dot grade, mentor grade. Okay, now this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question, and this is the most asked question, and you must know the concept of joins, and self join is a very important. Okay, now execute this and check the result set. So here you can see what output we are getting. We are getting Christian, whose mentor is Brian, and Christian's grade is 92, and mentor who is Brian, whose grade is 78. Okay, this is clear. Now similarly for Emma, Grace, Mary, and Ruchita, you can match the records and let us know in the comment if the record are correct. And let us do conversation at the comment also. Let us try to contract, so that we will also know what is your need and what kind of questions you want and what kind of interview you are going to give. Okay, so if you will provide us the expertise level that you have and that kind of question we need to put, so then we will try to make the sets for that also. Okay, so move on to the next question. Now what we have, the fifth question. Remove this, and all these table details where you will find at our Telegram channel. So join it from here, or you can join from our video description. Okay, so fifth question, get students who belong to student group with less than 3 members. Okay, so what we need to find out, we need to find out the students who belong to student group with less than 3 members. Now move on to SSMS and check. So this is a very simple query. Here we need to use the concept of subquery. Okay, so subquery, for if you want to deep dive into subquery, then a very good video we have uploaded on our channel that will make you understand about the whole detail of subquery from beginning to end, like what are subqueries, what are types of subquery, when to use the subqueries, and when to apply which subquery. Okay, so you can find out that video link in our video description. Okay, now write the query for this. Get a student who belong to study group with less than 3 members. Okay, so first of all check manually. So select star from students, and this is manual testing. Okay, like what, which particular group has less than 3 members, then we will write the query for this. So here you can see group id 2 has only 2 members, other than that 3 and 1 has 3 members. Okay, so we need to find out that group which has less than 3 members, so we need the result set of group 2. So the query for this will be select star from students, and then where group id in what, in the subquery part will come in select group id from student table, and then group by students. Okay, no, group by group id having having count of student id, student id less than 3. Okay, so what the subquery is doing here, so the subquery is finding out that group id which have less than 3 students. Okay, where the count of student id is less than 3. So that is why we have group by group id, because group wise count of students we want here, but basically here we want to display only the group id. Okay, now execute the subquery part first and check which particular group it is providing. So it is providing group id 2. So the question is going as expected. Now execute it with the outer query, and this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Now execute this and check the output. So here you can see 4 and 5 we are getting Daniel and Emma, who belongs to group id 2. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have, remove this. So from sixth question, the theoretical part is started. So we will increase our screen length, that will be visible to you also properly and to us also. Okay, now increase the screen length. Move on to question number 6. So what is the question? What are the different types of temporary tables in SQL Server? So the answer for this will be like, there are two kinds of temporary tables in SQL Server, that is local temporary table and the global temporary table. So what the local temporary table will do? So local temporary table defined using a single hash symbol, example hash temp table, and the scope is limited to the session that created. So basically in which session you will create the temporary table, local temporary table, that will be existing for that session only. Okay, and what are sessions and connection, that we will let you know uh, at the end. Okay, that will be also fine. Now third point is local temporary table automatically deleted when the session or connection is closed. Okay, now what are the means benefits of global temporary table? So global temporary table defined using double hash symbol, example double hash table temp table. Then global temporary table available to all sessions and connections until explicitly dropped or last session using it is closed. So basically we need to explicitly drop the global temporary table, or we need to close the session itself, means close the connection, then only the global temporary table will be deleted, otherwise it will exist till any session. Okay, now the third point, So can be used across multiple connections, making them useful for sharing temporary storage. Okay. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the seventh question, and this is a very important question. Like what is the difference between local and global temporary table? So on the given features, we will tell you about what are the differences among both the temporary tables. So according to scope, local temporary table has session specific scope, whereas global temporary table is available to all sessions. Okay. Now according to visibility, so local temporary table only accessible in creating session, whereas global temporary table accessible across multiple sessions. Okay. Now for according to persistence, so local temporary table dropped when session ends, whereas global temporary table exists until last session using it ends. Okay. Now for sharing perspective, so local temporary table cannot be shared because it is active till that session only. And now global temporary table can be shared across users, okay, because it is available till the whole session, okay, or explicit dropping. Okay. Now for created using, so local temporary table are created using the hash symbol, whereas global temporary table are created using the double hash symbol. Okay. Now access across connections, so local temporary table has no access across connections, whereas global temporary table has access across connections. Okay. Now performance impact, so local temporary table has low short-lived storage, whereas global temporary table has higher multi-session use. Okay. Now common uses, so local temporary table storage within a procedure or session, whereas global temporary table shared temporary data across multiple users. Okay. Now move on to the next question and check. So eighth question, in which database the temporary tables get created? And this is a very important thing that you must know, like where the temporary table that you are creating is getting stored. So in SQL Server, temporary tables are created in the tempdb system database. So basically in tempdb system database, the temporary table exists. So why in tempdb? So tempdb is a system database specifically designed for temporary storage needs, and it is recreated every time SQL Server restarts. So basically tempdb is recreated every time when we are restarting our SQL Server, meaning all temporary objects, including temporary tables, are wiped out when we restart our SQL Server. Okay. And the third point is both local hash temp table or global double hash temp table temporary tables are stored here in tempdb. Okay. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, the ninth question, what is the difference between table variable and temp table? So this is also a very important question, and these are most asked interview questions in SQL. Okay. So according to the given features, we will provide you the difference between table variable and the temporary table. So according to scope, so table variables limited to batch or stored procedure, whereas temporary table exists within the session. Okay. Stored in, so table variable stored in memory preferred or tempdb, whereas temporary table always stored in tempdb. So according to transaction support, so table variable does not participate in transactions, whereas temporary table fully participates in transactions. Now index support, so table variable supports only primary keys or unique constants, whereas temporary table supports full indexing including clustered and non-clustered index. Okay. Now according to logging, so table variable has minimum logging in SQL Server, whereas temporary table has full logged in tempdb. Now according to performance, so table variable faster for small dataset due to less overhead, whereas temporary table better for larger datasets with complex operations. Okay. Now according to constants, so table variable supports primary key and unique key constant, whereas temporary table supports full constant like foreign keys. Okay. Now according to visibility across sessions, so table variables not accessible outside its batch, whereas temporary table accessible within the session that created it. Okay. And now the last one, can be used in joins. So table variables limited join capabilities, whereas temporary table fully support joins. Okay. Now move on to the next question and the last question of this particular set. So how can I check for the existence of a temporary table? So how we can check for the existence of temporary table? So for that we have this particular command. So in SQL Server you can check the existence of temporary table in tempdb before using it by using the below method. We can check the existence of temporary table by applying this particular query. So using object id, So what you need to write, if object id then temp db and then your temporary table name is not null, then print temporary table exists, else print temporary table does not exist. Okay, so object id temp db hash temp table checks if the temporary table exists in the temp db database or not. Okay, so basically this particular query, and other than that, session and connection difference, or what are sessions and what are connection, we will cover in our later video, because this video came a bit larger. Now move on and end up this particular set. Okay, and for data, we have already told you, if you need the table scripts and the data that we are using, then you can go to our telegram channel using this particular link, scan code, or the link you will find in our video description and also on our channel description. And do like, share and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Thank you everyone. Many more videos are on the way, and as we have mentioned in our previous video, that we are planning for a master series on SQL that will cover everything related to relational databases, data warehousing, data integration, and SQL, everything from beginning to advanced level. Okay, so once we reach the milestone of 500 subscribers, then we are planning to launch that series so that more and more people will benefit from that. And thank you for watching. Thank you everyone.